Live stream on.
Give it a second. It says it's preparing.
Okay. Live stream.
Boom, it's on.
Amazing. Okay, we are at quorum. I'm going to start this meeting at 7:03 p.m. for the August 18, 2026 meeting. Um, Everyone's here, so we don't do attendance sheet. Do I have any amendments to the agenda? Um, since I know I can motion, I would like to add, let me make sure I have the proper spelling of it. I would like to add a letter. A letter to urge UCLA administration to save UCLA childcare. Can I please get if I just motion, can I please get a second?
I second.
Jaya motions, Gabby seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. All opposed, all abstaining. With the 12-0 vote, a letter to UCLA administration to save UCLA childcare is added to the agenda. Any other amendments? Yes, Gabby.
Yeah, bear with me here. I do have a few. I motion to strike J. Abuse Jackson for the data governance appointment.
Can I get a second, please? Oh, not an action, not a motion. So then, Gabby can just say that, and then if any objections, so she can just strike it.
Amazing.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Any other amendments to the agenda? Yes, Gabby.
Yes, I would like to motion in block. I would like to motion to add Andrew Campuzano to the community service mini fund appointment, and then Ali Kwan to the TGIF appointment, and lastly Danielle Nabong to the campus retention committee appointment.
Gabby motions, can I please have a second?
Second.
Gabby motions, Ashley seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. All opposed? All against? With 11-0 vote, those appointments are added to today's agenda. I'm gonna give Gabby a second to get those on there,
Thank you.
before I ask for any more amendments.
You can go ahead and get started.
Okay, are there any, just reminder, okay, never mind, you're already doing it. Thanks, Gabby. Any other amendments to the agenda today? Okay, seeing none, can I please get a motion to approve today's agenda for the August 2026 meeting?
I motion to approve the agenda for the August 18th, 2026 USAC meeting.
Gabby motions, can I have a second, please?
Second,
Who was that? Cecilia?
Susie.
Or Susie, okay, thank you, sorry. Gabby motion, Susie seconds, all in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. All opposed? All against? With the 12-0 vote, the August 2026 USAC meeting agenda is approved. Now going on to the approval of the minutes. I hope everyone took time to look at the meeting minutes from our last USAC meeting. Thank you so much again, Kendall, for doing that. Are there any objections to the meeting from last from last week? Mm, from okay. If no objections, then the August 4th USAC 2026 USAC meeting minutes are approved. Now going into our public comment period. Is there anyone here for public comment for today's USAC meeting? Gabby, is there no one here for public comment?
Not on my end, no.
Okay. One more call. Is anyone here to public comment for the August 2026 USAC meeting? All right, seeing none, I will close the public comment period for the August 2026 USAC meeting at 7:10 p.m. We have no funding today and we have no special presentations. So now we will go on to our appointments, and this first one is not an action item since it's a self-appointment. I am appointing myself to the Bruin Learn Working Group Committee for the 2026 to 2027 academic year. Jonathan, is that the proper language? And since it's not an action item, there's no motion needed, correct? Correct. Okay, sounds good. Then moving on to Sophia Bruno. This would be for the Data Governance Committee, for the 2026 to 2027 academic year. Since this is a consent, they did not have to go through ARC. Jonathan, there's a motion needed for this, or no, because it's consent? No, okay, great. So any discussion needed, any opposition or discussion needed about that? Okay, now moving on to Andrew Campuzano for CS Mini Fund Committee member. Uh, Uh, just let me know, Gabby, if they've already been added. Okay, I see them, great. And then just for their opening statement, whenever Andrew's ready. Hi, Andrew, welcome.
You guys hear me?
Yes. Hi, Andrew,
Perfect.
welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Andrew Campuzano. I applied for the Community Service Mini Fund because I believe community funding should create real opportunities and should be accessible to all students who want to be involved. I've had the privilege of serving as the City of Anaheim Youth Commissioner back in high school, where I connected families with various city services. And today I serve as an operations lead at the community programs office. These experiences have taught me how resources actually reach the people who need them. I know what effective service looks like and what it could look like. Did I freeze?
No, you're here.
Okay, perfect. I've had the privilege of serving as a City of Anaheim Youth Commissioner, where I connected families with city services in high school, and today I serve as an operations lead at the Community Programs Office. These experiences have taught me how resources actually reach the people who need them. As a son of two Mexican immigrants and the first person in my family to attend college, my story is a reminder of what community support can make possible.
Thank you so much. We'll now be going into questions from council of Gabby, if you can put a timer up for 15 minutes. Are there any questions from, oh, yes, Maya has a question. Go ahead, Maya.
Hi, Andrew. So I'm the
Hello.
Community Service Commissioner, and I work pretty closely with the CS Mini Fund. So excited to kind of have you applying for this appointment on behalf of CPO's side. What I'm curious about is in the past, we faced difficult decisions with limited funding on how to prioritize different organizations, whether to not fund certain ones or only partially fund. How would you go about deciding how to allocate money to student groups in the case of a limited budget?
Yeah, so serving on working at CPO, I actually served on our leadership council, which does a lot of the funding side of it. So I was in charge of applying for funding, looking for certain grants to fund our program. We did unfortunately cut some of our programming simply because we were facing cuts at the federal budget. One thing I can one thing I hope from some of my colleagues, and one thing I really hope to do, is prioritize as many students as we can. I think whether it be budget cuts, I just want to continue to serve as many students as we can, and that's something that we've prioritized over at the community programs office. I think being able to serve as many students as we can should be the priority, whether that be with little funding or with as much funding as possible. I think the priority should be to try to help as many students as we can.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for your response. I actually have a question.
Mhm.
I appreciated reading over the notes from our lovely art committee. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
And I was looking at some of the responses in relation to like promotion of the funding body. I'm just curious if you can outline specific tangible steps you will work with Financial Supports Commission, as well with Community Service Commission to promote financial literacy among student organizations. As this past year and as all years prior, a lot of student organizations, especially smaller, newer ones, are not always aware of all the funding
Mhm.
bodies that they have access to. So I'm curious what tangible steps you would do to
Yeah,
address.
I mean, what a big thing I brought up in my other interview was that a lot of students don't even know this funding is available. So one thing I definitely do want to do is make sure that as many students do know that this funding is available, but also making sure that we know how to use it wisely, especially when we are on a tight budget. Um, the cuts we've been facing are tough, so I just think that if there are students who will be receiving this funding, that they know how to spend it wisely, and that these student orgs are held accountable if the money is not spent wisely. I think transparency is huge, especially when we are going to be allocating this money to projects.
Got it. Thank you, Andrew. Does anyone else from council have questions? Going once, going twice. Okay, Andrew, we're ready for your closing statement. Gabby will put the
Okay,
timer up for you.
I'll keep it brief. Ultimately, I'm applying because I want students with good ideas. I don't want them to be held back because there's a lack of resources or access, or that they simply did not know. I know firsthand how meaningful it can be when a community invests in you. I was the first one in my high school. I was in the first one on both sides of my family to graduate high school, and I'm the only one currently attending college. And I credit that to many community projects and many people who are there to help me and the resources that I utilized. I would bring my experiences in the youth commission, at the community programs office, through operations, working in the community programs office. But most importantly, I want to listen to students and make sure that their voices are accounted for and reflected in the decisions that we make. I know the impact these projects have. I also know what it's like to be dependent on these services. And I will definitely be a transparent voice for underrepresented students like myself.
Thank you, Andrew, for your closing statement. We're now gonna I would like the ARC statement now, and then we'll go into council deliberation before the vote. So can I please have the ARC statement, Gabby?
You absolutely can. Andrew shared a great passion and commitment for community service. We enjoyed the experience he brought from CPO, as well as his other leadership and lived experiences in other capacities. Although not showing a lot of specific ways of supporting marginalized communities, we believe his intentions were great. With a vote of 2 to 1 to 0, ARC recommends Andrew Campuzano to the Community Service Mini Fund.
Thank you, ARC, much appreciated. Now going on to council deliberations. Does anyone have any comments in regards to this appointment? Okay. I will then request for a motion for a final vote on this appointment.
Absolutely. I motion to appoint Andrew Campuzano to the Community Service Mini Fund for the 2026-2027 academic year.
Can I have a second, please? Gabby motions, can I have a second?
I second.
Gabby motions, Maya seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. Any in opposition? Okay, one. All abstaining? One more time, all abstaining. Okay. With 11 to 1 to 0, Andrew Campuzano is appointed to the CS Mini Fund as a committee member for the 2026-2027 academic year. Congratulations, Andrew. We'll be in touch with Maya. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening. Okay, now moving on to Daniela Nabang for Campus Retention Committee. Whenever she's ready. She on or
Yeah, I promoted her.
okay. Okay. Hi, Dan.
Hi,
Hi,
sorry, my
Danielle.
internet cut out.
No worries. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Much appreciated. We're gonna get you started with your opening statement, and Gabby's gonna get your timer up if it isn't already. But whenever you're ready.
So, hi everyone, my name is Daniela Bong. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an incoming third year major in political science. I'm hoping to be appointed to the Campus Retention Committee since support for academically disadvantaged students has always been deeply personal for me. As an immigrant, I understand how access, guidance, and representation can completely shape someone's educational path. I've experienced firsthand just how overwhelming navigating unfamiliar systems, especially higher education, can be without support, which is why I'm passionate about spaces like the CRC that prioritize community-driven, student-led empowerment, because who better to support students than their peers? And so I want to contribute to building pathways for students who may feel like they have already fallen behind simply because of who they are or their circumstances. And after being on the SIOC last year, I have been able to witness just how wide a scope these initiatives really reach. So I want to be able to continue to contribute to these meaningful projects.
Got it. Thank you so much. We'll now go into our question period from council. I will start actually with the questions because I have one. I'm curious because of the history of CRC and SIC and the contentious relationship between these two committees and mother organizations and the mother organization coalition, and it's been starting back again this past year. I was curious how you will facilitate collaboration within this committee to improve relations with the MOC, with the Mother Organization Coalition.
Yeah, so last year I really felt like there wasn't much contention between these two groups, just was really built from the bottom up. So we really had to work with each other because we didn't really know what we were doing in regards to the new guidelines that we were given and the things that we had to now accomplish. And so we actually were working really closely with each other, which is what really inspired me to actually join the CRC this year instead of the SIOC, just because I really wanted to see a more university approach to this. And so I feel like a really big thing that helped last year was just constant communication. We took all of the committee members and made one big group chat. And every time we felt like the administration wasn't listening to us, we made sure to back each other up. And I think just that continued communication and facilitation is what really helped both committee orgs kind of like work with each other. And in regards to like the mother org, I feel like because we're able to facilitate these conversations with each other, it really just helped us become a more solid committee with like just both of us.
Got it. Thank you. Is there any other questions? Yes, Cecilia.
Thank you for being here. I wanted to ask what experience you felt like on SIOC that you'll take into CRC, and just how you will kind of further your personal mission for being on this committee.
Yeah, so like as I've touched, I originally joined the SAOC because I just really want to help disadvantaged communities. And I feel like now that I'm about to graduate UCLA, I wanted to really shift my focus to a more like UCLA focused one, which is what the CRC I think accomplishes. I'm sorry if you can hear the plane in the background. But I also just like my experience personally is that I now understand how to properly communicate with the organizations that we're supposed to be funding. And I feel like it's such a long process having to like make the application, make the guidelines, send it out, and have to go through the interview process for each one and go through deliberations. But I feel like after experiencing that with the SIOC, I am now better prepared and understand really the full extent of the process and what is expected from me as a member on the committee.
Got it. Thank you so much for your responses, Celia. Thank you for your questions, Celia, and thank you for your response, Danielle. Okay, does anyone else have any questions for Danielle before she goes into her closing? Okay, seeing none, then we'll have your closing statement, Danielle.
So ultimately, I want to be in the CRC because I understand how essential proper funding and structural support are in organizations. Money is at the core of any project, regardless of the passionate people behind it. So through my experiences in both for-profit and nonprofits, I have seen how even the most well-designed programs struggle without the resources to operate effectively. And being on the CRC would allow me to support projects at this foundational level. And I'm drawn to this committee because it doesn't just talk about equity and access, but actually allocates the resources that make these values real. And at the same time, I know that funding decisions require responsibility, transparency, and a really deep understanding of the communities that these committees are serving. And so I'm committed to bringing thoughtful judgment, clear communication, and a collaborative mindset to that process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danielle, for your response. We'll now go into, can I please have the ARC statement actually, before deliberation?
Absolutely. Danielle brought a great amount of experience to this interview, having been a member of SIOC and working with nonprofits. She understood the larger story of the many factors that influence a student's education and their success at a university, and told ARC that she aims to aid students in her capacity in CRC. With a vote of 3-0 to 0, ARC strongly recommends Danielle Nabong to the Campus Retention Committee.
Thank you so much, ARC. Much appreciated. We'll now go into deliberations. Does anyone have any comments they want to make before I ask for a final vote on this appointment? Going once, going twice. All right, I would like a motion on this appointment, please.
Yes, I motion to appoint Danielle Nabong to the Campus Retention Committee for the 2026-2027 academic year.
Gabby motions, can I have a second?
Second.
I heard Divine's name with that. Gabby motions, Divine seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. One, two. Please lower your hands. All opposed? All abstaining? With a 13-0 vote, Danielle Nabong is appointed to the Campus Retention Committee for the 2026-2027 academic year. Congratulations. Have a good evening, and we'll be in touch shortly.
Thank you so much.
All right, we will now be moving on to Vincent Kwan for Oversight Committee.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, absolutely. You know what?
Perfect.
1 second.
Oh,
Just 1 second. Jaya, we'll be back shortly. Mm, yes, I knew she would. Amazing. 1 second.
I do not know why this like has to happen every single summer meeting. I do not understand this, and I cannot wait until we're done with Zoom because it's ridiculous. Okay. Vincent is here. Okay, Vincent, whenever you are ready, we're ready for your opening statement.
perfect. Yeah. Hi, my name is Vincent. I'm a second year history major interested in serving as the head of the oversight committee this year. I'm primarily interested in serving in the oversight committee and especially in USAC because I was previously interning in the IVP finance team last year, where I was given my first introduction to USAC, and I was really interested to see all the services and the funding it offered to student orgs and other clubs. Furthermore, after that, I went to work in the oversight committee, which was newly founded last year because I'm interested in financial accountability and maintaining transparency, especially in USAC. And finally, I have had like relevant experience serving as a CR for the Hill and voting on like funding and like student programs and where the money actually goes to. So I believe I'd be a perfect candidate for this role. I'm primarily interested in the oversight committee simply because it is a nonpartisan and it's primarily an investigative agency that answers to students and ensures that. Oh, I'm out of time.
Oh, yes. But it's okay. You'll have more. We'll have questions, so you can also
So,
address other things as well. No worries. Okay, now we'll be moving on. Thank you for your opening statement, Vincent. Now we'll be moving on to our question period with council. Does anyone have any questions for Vincent? Yes, Ashley.
Hi, Vincent. So in your interview, you mentioned that you want to ensure that student fees are being used effectively in supporting all students. What concrete actions or steps would you take to accomplish that goal?
yeah, primarily, I'm sure, as we all know, on Bruin or on our Bruin bill, there's like a list of fees for each like organization or each like initiative that students have voted in resolutions. And because of that, I would want to ensure transparency and get students to first know what USAC does with this money that they take, and also how they receive the benefits from it by using my powers, if given this opportunity, for the oversight committee to subpoena or basically to ask for records from these offices. For example, if we were to take a look at the various student government offices or to look at Bruin Bash, for example, we would use the power vested in our charter to look at any emails, any internal reports, or any receipts that these organizations have so that we can build a comprehensive picture for students. And then I would hope to eventually publish this information either on social media or work with the Daily Bruin or other USAC entities to simply democratize access so that students know where their money is going.
I really like that. Okay, Gabby has a question. Thank you, Ashley, for asking that question. That was very similar to mine.
Yes. So we heard a lot in your interview about like more of the financial investigations that you would oversee as oversight committee chair. I'm curious to hear more about your intentions with the operational investigations that you would oversee as oversight committee chair and kind of what your take on that is.
Could you specify especially which operations? Are there any?
Yeah, I think what we heard in your interview was mainly like about how the oversight committee is a watchdog towards not only USAC but kind of all of the different undergraduate student association, whether that's administration or student orgs. Um, I was just wondering because it seemed like you had like a lot of financial knowledge, which is really great about the oversight committee and its financial investigations. So, I mean, not like anything in particular, but like off the top of your head, if you could say, I guess, like how would go about investigating student orgs, how you would do so unbiasedly, how you might handle dealing with administration.
I'm glad you brought up the topic of administration because that is going to be definitely require a nuance and undoubtedly a nonpartisan take. I believe that undoubtedly USAC and the administration especially is suffering from a lack of oversight and a lack of trust currently. And I believe that it is important for us, especially for my role as the oversight committee, to ensure that students trust these entities because these entities, USAC advocates for them and the administration ultimately provides services and resources to students. And because of that, if I were to go on to investigate these entities in particular, I would start off by, first of all, in my capacity, I am simply investigating. I'm not trying to, I don't have any stake in this operation. So therefore, and any reports that I ultimately give to USAC, I have no ability to decide whether USAC formally investigates and takes these issues to the next step, or if USAC decides to simply ignore my warnings and reports. And therefore, I simply would do the job and follow the charter to the best of my ability.
Okay. Did I freeze? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Vincent, for your response. Does anyone have any other questions for Vincent? All right, seeing none, Vincent, we're ready for your closing statement.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity. And ultimately, I just want to emphasize I want to be the head of the oversight committee because I had the opportunity to join USAC last year, and I really enjoyed learning about everything that USAC provides to students. And I hope to just democratize access to USAC and make sure students understand what it does and how it does what it does. I've also seen the effects of the fiscal crisis to this university, and I understand that's now more than ever, every dollar counts. And because of that, I hope to use this role to ensure that transparency starts at home, and with the help of USAC, eventually to be able to negotiate and work with the larger administration as a whole to allow for greater access to our university finances and how we, USAC and students, can solve the university's problems because we ultimately have a stake in this crisis.
Thank you, Vincent. I will now take the ARC statement.
Absolutely. Vincent's previous knowledge in USAC and the Oversight Committee, as well as his commitment to holding both USAC and UCLA entities accountable, makes him a great candidate to chair the Oversight Committee. He emphasized in his interview both a commitment to financial transparency and accountability, as well as connecting with the UCLA community and the entities he will attempt to keep accountable in this role. With a vote of 3-0 to 0, ARC recommends Vincent Kwan to the Oversight Committee chair position.
Thank you, Gabby and ARC. Much appreciated. And now moving on to deliberations. Did anyone have any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none. Wait, did someone raise their hand? I didn't. I didn't see. Okay. Okay, I didn't see any. Okay. With that, then I will now ask for a motion on this appointment for a vote.
I motion to appoint Vincent Kwan to the Oversight Committee Chair for the 2026-2027 academic year.
Gabby
sorry.
motion. Gabby motions. May I
Second.
have a second? Gabby motions. Cecilia seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Okay. One, two. Okay, please lower your hands now. All opposed? All abstaining? With the 12-0 vote, Vincent Kwan is appointed to the Oversight Committee Chair position for the 2026-2027 academic year. Congratulations, Vincent. Have a great rest of your evening. All right, now moving on to a non-action. So there will be no motion for this since this is self-appointment for Angela Ledesma. This is for AS Executive Board for the 2026-2027 academic year. Are there any opposition? Okay, then Angela is appointed to the AS Executive Board Committee for the 2026-2027 academic year. Now moving on to, oh, yeah, sure, Angela. I didn't know if there's something you want to say, but sure, why not?
Oh, thank you. I'm so sorry. I had a little statement written up and I wanted to just quickly say that.
Sure.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Just wanted to say, give a little clarification and also like kind of why I'm passionate about this. But for Section F of the USAC Academic Affairs Commissioner bylaws, under subsection 1C, it does state that a duty of the commissioner is to sit on the Academic Senate Executive Board Committee. This is a duty that I will not be taking an additional stipend for. Instead, it is a responsibility that I am more than grateful and privileged to take on. As the Academic Affairs Commissioner, I believe that having as much information and knowledge is essential to being up to date on campus news and happenings. Apart from this, the academic senate space is also an essential area to create policy, present the student experience as authentically as possible, and inform and urge faculty and analysts on potential agenda and action items. As someone who sat on the board last year, I am super happy and more than super happy to put forth as much pressure, ideas, and experience on the academic senate and in that space, especially the e-board. So if any of y'all ever want to talk to me about this, I'm more than grateful and happy to be here for that. But yes, thank you again.
Thank you so much, Angela, for your statement. It was beautifully written, and we're very excited for you and honored that you'll be serving on this committee again this year. All right, and we'll be moving on to our next committee, Summer Lay for AS Undergraduate Council. I assume Summer is here. So Summer, thank you for coming whenever you are ready. We're ready for your opening statement.
Okay. Hello, I'm Summer. I am going to my third year. I major in international development and have a minor in education, and I am I'm applying to be a member on the undergraduate council. And I'm also an international student from Singapore. And I think a huge part of why I want to be on the undergraduate council is because I kind of want to help students have a say at the table in terms of undergraduate academic policy and decision making. And I think it's important that students are able to represent themselves and also be able to kind of be socialized and part of those conversations, even though as at current we don't have that kind of voting rights yet. But I think that is something as part of a longer trajectory that ultimately we want to have student voices at that table, and we want to make sure that student voices are represented in the best way possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Summer. Much appreciated. We will now be going on to questions. I will start. Summer, something I noticed as an incoming freshman, I did not have an understanding of the power of academic senate and the things they oversee, which is an incredible amount. And I also did not have a deep, even though I was in USAC, I didn't have a deep understanding of what the AAC did and what the academic senator's role was. So I was just curious, how will you, if appointed, share with the student body about your role, about the purpose of AAC, as well as the actual influence and power academic senate has to the undergraduate student body?
Yeah. That is something that when I first came into UCLA was also an experience that I shared. I think navigating the academic senate, understanding the roles, the powers, and the functions of it was something that is quite opaque to most students, and it's quite difficult to understand. I think importantly, this comes together with another area of concern that I have, which is the cost and the the time and effort and the cost that students have to incur to navigate a lot of our bureaucracies and to understand our different systems and processes and what kind of levers they should push to enact change, as well as to get the kinds of information that they want. I think a little bit more specifically, I want to flesh out these layers to the student population. I have not decided or have not really worked with Angela sufficiently to decide the kinds of specific platform that you want to do this on, but I think the main idea that I would want to get behind is to help students break down what these processes look like, what the chains of who reports to who, what the reporting chains look like, what are the committees that are in charge of making what kinds of decisions, and essentially being able to flesh out on a student experience level if you have a certain problem or if you meet a certain bottleneck, who exactly are the people that you should be going to, you should be raising your views to, and so that the students are able to understand on a personal level, not not to try to make them digest the bureaucracy as it is, but to help them understand that as an individual student, who are the people that I should be going to, what are the levers that I should be pulling. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Summer. Does anyone else have any questions? Going once? Going twice? Okay, Summer, we're ready for your closing statement.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and I think it's incredible to have gone through this process of the interviews and also just to and have the opportunity to run for the undergraduate council position. I ultimately hope that if elected, I would have the opportunity to really have some say at that conversation table and really socialize sufficiently with the faculty and really help them to understand the student perspective such that they're able to kind of understand the constraints and the pain points that students face and be able to approach their own policies and understand it from a position of student impact instead of just understanding them at a very policy kind of level. And I think, as you mentioned, and as we understand, there's a lot of power and there's a lot of very significant decisions that can be made at the undergraduate council level and within the academic senate. And I think that is a position that I hope to be in and a journey that I hope to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Summer. Much appreciated. Can I please have the ARC statement?
Absolutely. Summer's experience in the Academic Affairs Commissioner Office and understanding of the Undergraduates Council's role as a conduit for student voice makes her a great candidate for this position. She displayed a deep care for crafting academic policy that is relevant to students and is developed with students in the conversation, which is exactly what this role calls for. With a vote of 3 to 0 to 0, ARC recommends Summer Lay to the Undergraduate Council.
Thank you so much for the ARC statement. Now moving on to council deliberations. Is there any comments? Yes, Angela.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Summer was an absolutely amazing ambassador to the registrar, um, 2 years ago, and I'm just really excited for her to be in front of USAC Council as a whole. I know that in her capacity as the ambassador to the registrar, she was an amazing liaison between students and the registrar's office, which handles so much information and processes for undergrads. And I know she could do the same thing to UGC. So just highly encourage her appointment and for council to vote yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Angela. Any other comments? All right, seeing none, I would like a motion on this appointment for a vote.
I motion to appoint Summer Lay to the Academic Senate Undergraduate Council for the 2026-2027 academic year.
I second.
Yeah, that was Angela seconded?
Yes.
Okay, Gabby motions, Angela seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. Please lower your hands. All opposed? All abstaining? With the 13 to 0 vote, Summer Lay is appointed to the Academic Senate Undergraduate Council Committee for the 2026-2027 academic year. Congratulations, Summer. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Now moving on to your last appointment, since Gabby's planning on striking Shack. We'll move on to Ali Kwan for TGIF committee member. Wait, question for Jonathan. Is it only the TGIF chair that's like a consent appointment and the committee members are action?
We don't appoint the chair.
Oh, okay. So it was internally elected chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then okay, TGIF is action. Okay. Okay. Whenever ready.
Hey, hi. My name is Ali Kwan. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm applying for appointment to the Green Initiative Fund Committee. As an environmental science major going into my 4th year, I have a strong background in sustainability and campus involvement through projects, events, and experience. As Sustainability Action Research Co-Director last year, I have firsthand experience and familiarity with student-led sustainability projects and events, especially the factors to consider when planning and implementing these types of projects. As I've practiced professionalism when working with peers, holistic thinking, and providing thorough feedback to projects and events, I hope to help students get more engaged with larger campus sustainability efforts and goals. I hope to gain a deeper understanding of the funding process and provide feedback on how events or projects can be more sustainable as part of this committee. This aligns with my academic and career goals of sustainability and interdisciplinary learning, while also aiding students to use the most of their resources and promote events that are sustainable.
Thank you so much. We'll now be moving on to questions. Does anyone have any questions for Ali? Sorry, I don't see. Okay, seeing none, Ali, we're ready for your closing statement.
If elected to this committee, I hope to provide as much resources to as many students as possible through this opportunity, while also maintaining transparency and making sure that I am fulfilling my roles by working alongside peers in the committee and also outreaching to USAC to gain a better understanding of how the university operates at such a large scale with so many student bodies to support. I hope that this experience ultimately provides a place for me to learn while also teaching from my previous experiences in sustainability and environmental related experiences and student experiences altogether where I can gain and further develop my leadership skills. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ali. I will have the ARC statement.
Absolutely. Ali had great experience, a passion about sustainability, and was mindful to how TGIF supports students in its capacity within USAC. ARC also appreciated that she wanted to review and update funding guidelines, as we believe reflexivity is a great quality to have within this position. With a vote of 3-0, ARC strongly recommends Ali Kwan to the Green Initiative Fund.
Thank you so much, ARC. Much appreciated. Now moving on to deliberations. Does anyone have any comments? Yes, Paige.
Yeah, just quickly wanted to say that after interviewing Allie myself, that I can strongly recommend that you guys vote for her. Not only is she incredibly sustainability oriented, but she's incredibly student oriented. And that is equally as important on committees like this. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Paige. Any other comments? All right. I would like a motion for a vote on this appointment then.
I motion to appoint Ali Kwan to the Green Initiative Fund for the 2026-2027 academic year.
Gabby, yes. Gabby motions. Can I get a second?
I second.
Gabby motions, Paige seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. All opposed? All abstaining? With a 13-0 vote, Ali Kwan is appointed to the Green Initiative Fund Committee for the 2026-2027 academic year. Thank you so much, Ali. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you, you too.
All right. I know Gabby wanted to strike Shack. So until we can get that information and clarification from Gino and Daniela on those
Do I have to
appointments.
motion it? Okay. I motion to strike Jenna Ali Shack, Dominic Jakob Shack, Alan Zong Shack in the appointment section.
Gabby motions, can I have a second?
Second.
Gabby motions, Daniela seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. One, two. Please lower your hands. All opposed? All abstaining? With a 13-0 vote, those appointments are striked. We'll now be moving into officer reports. So I'll start with mine. I'm going to try to keep it brief, but I did have some relevant updates. One, applications are out. Two, this is something I'll start discussing with SGA. But I did have a meeting with UCOP discussing carryover restrictions. And UCOP communicated to me that when it comes to carryover and surplus, those funds need to be used directly for whatever the referendum language is. So that means something we need to think about, and I'll meet with Jessica about this, is um to discuss like the monetary amounts that are being left over, and if necessary, if it's possible, there needs to be like a new referenda to decrease these funds if they're not being used for what the referendum language is used for, because it's in violation for you guidelines to be using carryover for funds that is not specifically for in the referenda language. So that was something really important that I just wanted to flag with you all. This Thursday, Friday, I will be with Cecilia in Oakland for the UCOP Leadership Summit with our graduate presidents, student body presidents, undergrad, EVPs, UCGPC and UCSA as well. And Jonathan will be there. So that's exciting that some of the advisors will be there. So that would be exciting. I was appointed to the Inclusive Access Committee and the Inclusive Access Vice Provost. That will begin in September. I have a resolutions report enforcement change. Thank you to Gabby for helping me out on that. The BPS solidarity letter that I was able to work with Cecilia and Gabby. Thank you so much on that as well. I think those are my main updates. Oh, another big thing that was thought is interesting, just wanted to flag with you all, is that I'm connected with Mesa and will be meeting with Seppi and Mick to support on their advocacy project in relation to Aswana Resource Center. That's very similar to hopefully be modeled off the center at UC Riverside. That's incredibly great. So yeah, the other thing is looks like my CRC appointments were filled today, so that's great. So just focusing on filling appointments and things like that. We're nearly there. I'm also supporting Charbel on some of his appointments. So any of you guys need additional support for me for getting them filled, please let me know. And then also another thing is I will be talking with Steve Lurie at my next biweekly meeting with him regards to SB98 and what's occurring at other UC campuses. Thank you, Cecilia, for making sure I asked that question. If anyone has any questions you want me to ask administrators when I meet with them, please let me know. Okay, passing off to Gabby. Sorry, that was a long one for today.
No, you're good. Absolutely. I have a few updates for y'all. First things first, I know it's not in our bylaws, but I would like to encourage everyone, if you guys do decide to pass a resolution, to not only do obviously your first and second updates, but to do like a third ongoing update. So what I've done, if you look in the resolution report section, is I just have a link for just ongoing updates. I think it's great for transparency, just so that people know what we're doing. So speaking of which, I met with Dana, who was originally here from a while ago when we first passed it. I met with Jaya, also Angela, Cecilia, and then the incoming UCSA president to push the retroactive removal of incomplete notations. So a lot of great steps are being taken there. Some next steps that we did discuss was coordinating with the AAC to discuss like raising the concern to Academic Senate, and then also meeting with the UCSA Disability Justice Officer, which just got elected, and then also publishing a UCSA resolution to make this a UC-wide concern. I have a few more updates, but you can check that, and I've linked it. As you guys saw, we did some ARC interviews, super amazing. I filled one of my appointments, which was oversight committee chair, and upon investigation, there needs to be some updates to the appointment section, which again, you guys will be seeing today. Don't even worry about it. And then in addition, Jaya, Cecilia, and I published a statement calling on the UC admissions to maintain test blind for student equity. Shout out Jaya, shout out Cecilia. Um, Not shouting, never mind. Just, it's important that we remain equitable to all students as elected officials and that we support students of every background. Search on our Instagram for more. And then you guys will see a letter that we also did. Shout out JS, shout out Cecilia. And then I also had the pleasure and honor of meeting with a representative from the Defend Migrants Alliance who was really receptive to collaborating with IVP, to collaborating with USAC. We also talked about potentially their role in the campus advisory board. And also they encouraged us to go to a Westwood Neighborhood Watch meeting, which has been conducting not necessarily ICE patrols, but just protecting the community in general. But I think that could definitely be beneficial to helping our community. Closed submissions for the director applications for my IVP office. We have a healthy 52 applications to go through. Absolutely amazing. I also coordinated a meeting with Dean Galvan regarding funding the Latinx Success Center. That's a follow-up on a previous resolution that was passed last year by Tommy. Shout out Tommy. And then lastly, tomorrow, actually, I'm meeting with the Latinx Success Center about coordinating the second annual Dia de los Muertos event. Yeah, and the rest is written if you guys want to check it out, but thank you.
Wait, how many applications did you get?
82.
Damn. Okay, period. You got that. Cecilia.
Beautiful. Everything sounds great on your guys' end. As everyone has been talking about, worked on the letter with exec in opposition of the UCLA Child Care Center closure. Working very heavily with UCSA on the September Regents mobilization. So our priorities that we narrowed down to are SB 98 compliance because ICE was on UCSD campus and students were not notified. So just to flag for you guys, SAT testing is going to also be another priority, as well as underground scholars state funding and disability services at large. So we'll be reaching out to you guys if we want to coordinate something. I know a bunch of you guys would be interested. So we'll send in the chat very soon. We're also going to be working on a public comment workshop to be held within the first or second week of September. So students can get started. The Regents meeting is September 15th to 16th, so just shy of when school starts, but just wanted to flag for you guys for mobilization. Signed onto the letter, the support opportunity for all on the Senate floor, and then also in talks with IJAC for their press rally happening on September 4th. Pushing for AC-18. Unfortunately, last Thursday, it was pulled from the Senate Appropriations agenda without any notice. And just there's not a lot of understanding of what's going on there. So really urging you guys to call Rivas, Cervantes, which are the committee heads, Limon and Newsom, to make sure that it's get put back on so that on August 31st, it's the last day, to ensure that it can go on the November 2028 ballot. So super, super important. I will be individually texting you guys about it. And then the rest is written. It's just about like office apps and the leadership summit.
Thank you so much, all. Now moving on to our Gen Reps, Evan.
Hello, everybody. One thing, yeah, just waiting to hear back from HR on just reviewing the applications that I sent in. So hoping to get that approved by this week so we can kind of start hiring. On terms of hiring directors, will lead into campus safety. I did meet with the Live Like Braun Foundation, which is a foundation that celebrates the life of Braun Levy, whose life was tragically ended at the age of 18 by an alleged drunk driver. He's actually a pretty good friend of mine, passed away last year. And this foundation is pretty much it's on like impairment, especially regarding like drunk drivers and kind of all things considered with that. One thing that I met with the founder of the foundation, the COO of the foundation, and the college campus collective like coordinator, and basically we talked about our efforts within the platforms that I ran on of campus safety, of a safer Westwood when students are going out, and we kind of talked about how we can utilize our shared resources on hosting and having that table out when students are going out onto campus, or going out rather, in Westwood, like free water, free Narcan, etc. We also talked about like having a set programming for and funding rather for volunteers who are walking people home from like their respective area. And lastly, we kind of just talked about ways that we can host them onto campus to platform their current initiatives and what they're doing. And yeah, more to come. I will see some of you guys at Leadership Academy this weekend, and looking forward to it. The rest is written. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're going this weekend, can you guys please let me know? Okay, I guess Evan, I assume, okay, Evan's going, but if anyone else is going, please let me know. Cecilia, you are? Okay, I'm assuming that was yes. Okay, Pranaya.
Hi guys. I'll try to keep mine mostly written, but for my biggest update, AB 2212 passed through appropriations, so that's huge. Thank you everyone for your support. I know our letter was really helpful from what I heard. And there were a few amendments made to the bill, but next step is for Newsom to sign it into law, and Bauerkan's office is pretty confident that that will happen. So very exciting. And hopefully throughout the year, I really want to work with like UCLA admin and resource centers to make sure that updated definition for harassment is being like brought into our campus resources. So I'd love to work with anyone if you're interested. What else? Submitted my materials for HR approval, connected with Lori and a few other people regarding my platforms. I connected with the Armenian Student Association to discuss how we can work together over the coming year. Yeah, and the rest I'll keep written.
Okay, thank you, Susie.
Hi guys, I'm just gonna keep it super brief. Just update, working on Office apps. I think my biggest update for me was this past weekend I was able to go to Oakland with the African Black Coalition and Black Lives Matter Youth Vanguard, talking about political organizing, and so that's going to help me with my hiring for the director of my student organizing director. And one of the efforts that they wanted to garner more support is for the Assembly Bill 2551. It's about time, place, and manner, protecting campus free speech. And so more to come with that, but the rest is written. And that's it.
Thank you so much for that. Angela.
I'll keep most of it written, but did want to say that interviewing for those who've applied to exec and directorship positions within the AAC. So I'm really, really excited, super happy. The e-board statement on the potential reinstatement of the SAT ACT letter was posted alongside the Office of the President, IVP, and EVP. It was great. You guys should go check it out. I met with Josh concerning the AAC budget breakdown. And then this Friday, I am meeting with the registrar and the deputy registrar alongside the AAC ambassador to the registrar over incomplete notations. But if any of you guys have any other questions concerning the registrar, please send them my way. I would be more than happy to pass those along. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Salem.
Hi, a few updates. We've just been working on Bruin Bash, working hard on that. Shout out CAC and shout out Divine. Divine's one of my favorite people ever in the whole world, so shout out. I won't say too much. I want to leave something for Divine to say, but I will say shout out, check out our Instagram at Bruin Bash. It's live. There's things to look at, so
Oh,
go check that out. And then yeah, very excited.
Oh my God, we're so excited for you guys. You guys are gonna do so amazing. We're so proud of you guys already. Divine.
Are you coming back to me?
Isn't it Maya?
Oh, sorry. I didn't on my. Oh, okay. Sorry. I literally did not see that. I am sorry, guys. I'm on two tabs. Sorry. Maya and then Divine.
No worries. Been a while since I've done kind of a verbal update. Things are general commission updates. Our staff are mostly hired. We'll be hiring interns in the fall, working on getting everyone through kind of the SGA and SGS onboarding and all of that. Big note is that Volunteer Day will be on September 26th. Would be great to have all of you guys there, as well as recruiting people from your offices to come. So please make sure you're sharing that with your networks. We'll have posts out later. Other big news is that we've have our spring transparency report finally published. That is currently, there's a link on my officer reports, but it'll be going out on our website as well as on our Instagram in the next couple days. I'm not going to read through all of our highlights, but that's all there. And then I think Daniela and I are working on that outreach flyer for USAC as our promotion. So please go in before the end of tonight and just write a little blurb about your office and what you guys do. That way we can make sure to include that and continue working on that. Other than that, we're meeting with Jaya and I are meeting with OCHC this Friday to discuss collaborations with Res Life and then kind of continuing to do meetings and get settled with everyone internally.
Yay. Thank you so much, Maya. Again, sorry about that. Divine.
Hey everyone, this is my first verbal officer report, so very happy about that.
Whoop,
But yeah,
whoop.
Bruin Bash has been the biggest focus this summer, and shout out Salem, best co-producer ever. We officially posted on Instagram yesterday, so stay tuned for more posts to come. Been having our weekly meetings with our 4 teams, been meeting weekly now for EAF, and had a meeting with JMI last week. More on just CAC. We have our venues confirmed for HHC Hip Hop Appreciation Month, Word on Wednesday, and our fall quarter art galleries. This week I'm having one-on-ones with all directors to continue prepping for the school year. And this summer we've had biweekly directors meetings, and we're updating the CAC website so it can be live ideally by the end of this month. And next Wednesday, CAC is going to be tabling at the AAP Freshman Transfer Summer Program Cultural Treasures Night. We've done this for the past 2 years, so really excited to meet incoming students next week.
Thank you so much, Paige.
Finally wrapping up all of, sorry, I'm so quiet. It's really early where I am. Finally wrapping up all of my hiring and getting people onboarded. Working still on appointments, and passing people forward. Given most of my appointments are consent. And this is my last meeting in the middle of the night, so I will be back in the US on Sunday, which means I will be ramping up a lot of my work and beginning meetings with administration and other people to hit the ground running.
Amazing. Korea.
I'll keep it brief, but the FSC office applications just got posted today, so super excited for that. And then also, I mentioned last week I'm working with Mary Roma on the financial workshop. She has opened the offer for any offices that want to help participate. I know she reached out to the gen reps, but just wanted to throw it out there. If anyone else is interested, feel free to reach out to me, and then I can obviously connect you guys if that's something your office is interested in participating in.
I will text you. I will get my chief of finances on that for you. Thank you so much. Daniela.
Hi everybody. Couple of just like updates that right now, like internally as a commission, I'm just doing like individual meetings with each of my new directors, making sure that I was on board when the school year starts. Just had a meeting with my platforms team to discuss projects I want to start doing for the upcoming year. We are currently planning our big fall event called Health Coming, and we're just kind of in the process of trying to book Wilson Plaza. as Maya said, I'm working with CSC to do the USAC pamphlet. So please, if you can, please give us your office description. We really want to make sure that when the school year starts, that pamphlet goes out. And apart from that, I've also been attending the new student orientations, tabling them, and then just going hoping to increase awareness, handing out Narcan pads and like other basic need materials, and also promoting our internship program opening in the fall.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
Yeah, not too much to report. Just wrapped up hiring directors, had our first meeting, talk about goals for the year, and we kicked off planning for transfer transitions.
Thank you. Sounds good. Sure, Bob.
He's not here today.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. USAC resolution reports. Gabby already provided her updates and mentioned the ongoing updates. Gabby, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No.
Right. You gave thorough resolution reports, so thank you so much. And I love the ongoing updates idea, and I highly encourage other people to do that as well. Next is administrative representative. So we'll start with Orlando.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing really well. I do not have any updates.
Okay, Lorelai.
Hi, everyone. For me, I just have two things. One, I'm still missing a couple of module set threes. So I'm missing, or it's not at 100% completion for AAC, FAC, and ISR. Get in contact with me if that doesn't sound correct, or if you're having issues with Genie Lee. And then the second one is for any of your offices that either assist or directly oversee a funding body. Keep an eye on your email from me. I'll be contacting the chairs within the coming days regarding onboarding, so that way we can get your guys' funding guidelines and applications ready for the fall.
Thank you so much, Lori.
Hi guys. Just two things. If you even think you're gonna want space at recreation, please make sure you are a signatory and request an account on our website. The instructions to request an account are in Slack. I think I put those in yesterday. And then also starting Friday afternoon, I will be gone for about 2 weeks on vacation. So if you need something from me, you gotta get it before Friday. That's all.
Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Hey, hi, hello. A few things from me today. Again, your perennial reminder about your open house on the 23rd of September from 11 to 2. If there is any issues with your attendance, please let us know sooner rather than later. HR apps, as a couple of you have mentioned, as you know, they can take a week or so. So the ones that I do not have any submissions from are ISR, GenRep 3, and CEC. So please submit those sooner rather than later so you can have stuff ready for fall. Also, as mentioned, I will be in Oakland Thursday and Friday this week. And so I'll have my email and everything, but we'll be in sessions and such. So please excuse any delay in my response. But Lorelai will be here. And Jessica is also out this full week. So if you need anything from Jessica, please let myself know, or I can help guide you to the right person. And your fall entities meet and greet has been scheduled. Thank you to those that filled out the poll from Krista K. That has been scheduled for October the 2nd from 1 to 2 p.m. in the Kirchhoff Art Gallery on the second floor. The four ASUCLA entities are UAll, USA, GSA, the grad students, student media, and then student-run enterprises, which is all of the services and commercial activities in the union. And every year we bring them all together. And this first one is just a meet and greet to get to know each other from the other entities. So I highly, highly encourage you all to come and meet your colleagues in student media, GSA, and student-run enterprises. And then lastly, oh, not lastly, sorry, almost. On the USAC website, the individual officer pages have been uploaded. So if you go onto the USAC website and you click officers and then you click on your name, it will take you to a page that our students have done their best to piece together. A lot of it is from like campaign Instagrams and the Daily Bruin and things of that nature. So I encourage you to take a look at yours and then no like hard feelings at all. Please, please, please let us know what you actually want on there, or if anything is incorrect or you'd like to add or change things around. And then lastly, I will be out on vacation from the 29th of this month through the 6th of next month. So that's not next week, but the week after. So if you need anything from me, please let's get together next week. This means I also will not be at your next council meeting. But again, Lorelai will be here to hold down the fort along with your other wonderful advisors. And if you need anything, let me know.
Anytime Lorelai or Jonathan are out, I die inside. That's all I have to say about that. You guys will be missed. Okay, moving on into new business now. We'll starting with the resolution reports bylaw change by me again, but really shout out to Gabby. Thank you so much for helping me on this. This was a topic that some of us discussed who attended our USAC times J board meeting, and since Judicial Board is reactionary, they really believe that there needed to be a different accountability measure when it comes to enforcing resolution reports. As I don't know if you guys were aware, but resolution reports were not enforced last year and people did not fill them out. So yeah, so the purpose of the bylaw change addressing concerns of the resolution reports in a timely manner in interest of transparency and accountability. What was added was failure to provide the required verbal and written updates without valid justification shall result in the main sponsor's force feeding. One stipend check per meeting that the officer fails to provide updates to the council and undergraduate student association. That is added. Clause. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Yes.
I
My
see Gabby's question and then I see Evan.
Yeah, so the intent behind this, essentially, if you guys haven't saw, is that there's a concern that USAC isn't doing res reports and that there needs to be some sort of enforcement to get everyone to do resolution reports. Um, Without this change, J Board is forced to turn into a policing body, and that's a fact. And like Jaya was saying, they are supposed to be a reactionary body, so someone's supposed to file a petition in order for J-Board to see the case. So either J-Board on its own is going to be a policing body, or one of us is going to have to file a petition against someone else, and that just makes for a very like unhealthy environment. I want to emphasize that. And then the last point I want to say is the reasoning behind forfeiting one stipend check per meeting that the officer fails to provide updates is this is the exact same enforcement that is used when you don't have an appointment or when you don't attend or you use up all of your absences and then you keep using absences after you've used all the ones you're available to. So this is just a way of saying, hey, like if you know you were elected to fulfill your USAC bylaws, you were elected to do this job, you do not do this job, you do not get paid. I think that's reasonable, but would love to hear what other people think.
Yeah, any other comments or questions? Yeah, Evan.
Yeah, so I totally get the intention here and I respect it. I agree with what this is trying to do. I think that a bit more clear of like what that means for like in advance. Like what like I think having that written out, because if that just means I didn't do my officer report this week and I text Jaya 2 minutes before the meeting, like is that enough advance? You know what I mean? Like I just want to make sure that we're being like as clear as possible, especially when this is talking about somebody's like finances, if you will, that they're kind of dealing with that, which I agree with. I understand that that's a necessary thing. I also think it's like I understand it's like an aggressive kind of thing to make sure that everybody's accountable on what they're trying to like put out there. I just want to, I don't know. Like, I think also like people get busy and stuff like that. I totally understand that. But if that's an excuse or like if that's a reason why, same thing. I just want to know what that means to be like, okay, I'm not going to get it out this week. I'm not going to have it ready for this meeting. But like, at what point should I say that, or who am I saying that to?
Yes. We can workshop that in like to regards to like when they're not filling out the resolution report, with not their, this is separate from the officer report. We don't have we don't have oversight over that. But yeah, I think that's a really great comment, Evan. So I think, yeah, writing out specifically like how people should let them know and that, yeah. So I will workshop that with Gabby's help. Anything else? Yes, Gabby.
Yes, would love to respond. So you actually, so this, like what Jay was saying, this is specifically for resolution reports. Resolution reports do not have to be super in-depth and they can be written or verbal. So I just did both because I'm like that. I just like to be a little bit extra. But if you were to look at the USAC resolution reports in the agenda right now, if you were to take a walk with me, so what I did essentially, like I literally just said like a meeting that occurred and then I gave notes about that meeting, and you are able to provide your first update on either, I don't know how to phrase it, but it's an either or situation. So it's not just like, oh, you have to provide it at this meeting. You're given the option to put it off until the next meeting, and you're able to put that as your update. I did that. So I took an extra week in order to provide an update where I would have an update. And then I believe it's a 2 week, it's 2 weeks in between for that second update. So you are given like a lot of leniency. And then it's also the IVP's job to email you and reach out to you and say, hey, like, what's going on with the resolution report updates. I know Jaya will definitely be on top of that and ask for any sort of update. So you are given opportunities to like discuss whether that's like, even if you're just like, oh, I talked to this stakeholder about this, or I talked to the student org about this. Like resolution reports do not have to be super in depth, so you don't have to feel pressure to have to solve this entire problem that your resolution report seeks to. It's just to keep track of it, to make sure that you are taking tangible steps towards that. Yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you, Gabby. That's great. Yes, Evan.
No. I just wanted to say thank you for clearing that up. And yeah, I just wanted to like maybe just if we can just like have it written, because I don't want this to like be a thing that will like what's it called? Dissuade people from like going forward with the resolution. You know what I mean? But I completely agree, and I can see like the thought process behind that. And yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, no, again, great comment, Evan. I think it's always great to be as specific as possible. Yeah, Gabby. Because your hand's raised.
I'm so sorry, Queen. I left that up.
No, you're good. Okay, but yeah, again, Evan, it was a good comment. Much appreciated.
Wait, yeah, sorry, can I?
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm looking at the bylaws right now. If you guys take a walk with me once more, it's page 36, number 5, resolutions. It says, let's see, this is part F. The main sponsors of a resolution shall be required to provide 2 updates to the Undergraduate Student Association Council by the 2nd or 3rd and 6th or 7th meeting regarding actions taken and any new information relevant to pass a resolution. And then it explains how it's supposed to look, but like I was saying, it's written that it says the main sponsors of a resolution by the 2nd or 3rd and 6th or 7th, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay, got it. So I think what would needs to be workshopped is how how would the valid justification be communicated? And
Yes.
like the timeline? Like when? Like when is that needed by? Like 24 hours, via email, like something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, so this F part 5 says if the required updates are not given by the second or third and sixth or seventh meeting after the resolution is presented, the IVP shall automatically add a special presentation to the agenda for the fourth or eighth meeting after the resolution is presented for the main sponsors to present updates on their resolution respectively. So I guess this would mean that like so you have the option between the second or third. That's your first update, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that fourth one, I'm adding a special presentation to the agenda being like, yo, the president passed this resolution, hasn't given an update, but I'm adding a special presentation. It's going to be called Resolution X. Um, and then I think it's if that one the president, I'm sorry, Jay, I'm putting you on blast. The president's like,
Uh-huh.
I don't have anything.
Would not do this, but okay.
No, I'm just saying, hypothetical.
No, I know.
But if that one is like, oh, I don't have anything, I think that's where we start. That's where we start having a bit of a problem.
Yeah. Okay,
So should we say the fourth?
We can talk offline about
Okay.
it. Me and Gabby, we can talk offline about it. So, CRC is able to like have the as much of a good clause as possible to work with. But again, great comments all. Anything else before we move on to next new business? All right, we'll do the next bylaw change. I was on appointments with Gabby.
Yes, absolutely. Give me 1 second here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, everyone. Hello. So I have been cleaning up the bylaws because in the appointment section there has been a bit of an issue. I reached out to the relevant offices that these changes would impact. We can walk through all of these, but they are pretty self-explanatory. I cited where they are at the beginning if you want to take a gander at the bylaws. So this first one, there is a double appointment. So there's 2 times it mentions ASUCLA BOD back to back. I believe it meant ASUCLA Communications Board. This happens more than 1 time in the bylaws, which is why I noticed that it was a problem. The year and the number is consistent with I did this with Jonathan. I looked over this with like various charters. So this one's good. And then this IVP one, so I looked at the oversight committee charter and it said that I actually appoint, in addition to a chair, which we just saw, a vice chair, a supervisor of internal affairs, and a supervisor of external affairs. Again, this is consistent with the charter. And then in addition, I coordinated with Jonathan to add this to the workflow because people aren't able to apply for it right now. And then the next one for Academic Affairs Commissioner, this one was a fun one. So there are a few appointments that simply don't exist anymore. There's some that say they pull from like SIOC, they don't anymore. So just kind of cleaning that up. And then just various committees. And then we wanted to add Faculty Executive Committee, because again, if you look at number 9 and 10 here, I have it highlighted. 9 and 10 says Faculty Welfare Committee twice, but one of them actually meant Faculty Executive Committee. I checked this with Angela, so boom. Another AAC one, this one is a double appointment again. It says Student Initiated Outreach Committee. And then next Facilities Commissioner, they just spelled SIOC wrong. It was annoying me. And then next one, Facilities Commissioner, they actually have um 2 appointments for the Transportation Services Advisory Board. They are still active. And then again, 1-year terms. I checked this one with Paige. And then TSR, I checked this one with Ashley. That we're having this one just didn't have a number of appointments and it didn't have a year. So we had clarified that one. And then lastly, ISR had 2 missing appointments, CRC and SIOC, so we want that enumerated in the bylaws. Boom.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gabby. It was great just because we've been having issues on CRC SIOC. So, and also just issues overall understanding some of our appointments. So this was much appreciated and thank you so much. Any comments before we go into Gabby's next bylaw change? All right, now on CAB and CSA bylaw change.
Absolutely. Okay. So this one, the previously called Congressional Advisory Board went through a bit of a revamp last year. Now it's the Campus Advisory Board. So this bylaw change changes every congressional to campus. So we're making it official. Um, Let me see here. Yes, that is all the top one is. And then if you go to page 4, this is regarding the Campus Safety Alliance, which is one of my other appointments. And what's it called? They, for some reason, I think at one point the assistant vice chancellor of facilities management and environment, health and safety was one, but now it's two. There's two. So there's an assistant vice chancellor of facilities management and there's an assistant vice chancellor of environment, health and safety or their designate.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, I am adding Steve Lurie, the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Campus and Community Safety, or their designate, to the Campus Safety Alliance.
Sounds
Um,
good.
I figured this out with Steve. He approved, he likes. So, boom.
Sounds good. Any other comments? Looks great. Okay, seeing none, I definitely will be able to get you guys out before 9. Amazing. Next is a letter to urge UCLA administration to save UCLA childcare. This was in collaboration with our executive cabinet, which is me, Gabby, and Cecilia. So I'm just gonna start and then I'm gonna let other people chime in on other things. Something I really wanted to emphasize was how we were seeing a pattern. Obviously a lot of patterns has happened at UC Berkeley as well between when it comes to UCLA's budget cuts. They are choosing to prioritize the removal of programs that heavily serve undeserved and marginalized populations. So that's why we mentioned UCLA AP and the Ethics Studies Certificate program. Um, and something that I really liked that we did was we highlighted the main demands.
Cool. So one of the things we highlighted, we coordinated with Bruin Parenting Scholars to kind of highlight the list of demands, which you can see on the bottom. We found that Bruin Parenting Scholars actually they're kind of accepting that the center is closing, but instead um they ask for like additional action being taken by administration, because what administration is doing, they're having an educational navigator, basically giving referrals to people kind of trying to figure out like where a childcare center may be best fit for not only Bruin parents who are scholars, but also faculty, staff, families that are impacted by by this issue, by the closing of the child center. So this is the only child center on campus, you guys. In September 2025, they had two. They closed the first one, so now they're going to close the second one. So this would cancel all childcare, which is a really big issue. It impacts students who are also parents. It also impacts faculty. In this letter, we have highlighted. Let me see if Jay is texting me. We'll see. We'll see if she's back. But in this letter, we have highlighted the impacts. It impacts the children. It is about like when you're changing the style of education, it can be incredibly harmful, especially when they're in their very formative periods of their lives. It impacts faculty, because faculty now sometimes they have to like, I have this written better because I had more time to think about it. But
Mhm.
oh, hi.
No, I've been here. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you've
It
been
just
here.
cut me out and then I'm here. But yeah, I'm here to talk about whatever you have not mentioned yet.
I was just saying that essentially when you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to recruit as a university
Mm-hmm.
faculty, they're taking into account where is the nearest childcare center for my child,
Mm-hmm.
and is it
Correct.
accessible, is it affordable? And not only that, a lot of other UC campuses like UCI, UCR,
Mm-hmm.
UCSB, UC Berkeley defunded theirs, but it's still in function.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of other UCs offer childcare, accessible childcare that's on campus, and we don't have that. So that gives us a competitive disadvantage.
Absolutely. And I think just another like big purpose want to emphasize in regards to like Broome parenting scholars is once again, this is a really incredibly marginalized intersectional community that is often dismissed. And I think like why like we both connected with BPS. I mean, I had a seat at the table with them in July. It's really incredibly important. Like the one bare minimum quest student Broome Parenting Scholars has is making sure we're bringing these students in to conversations, like any conversation, opportunity, lobbying, administrative meetings, and things like that. And that's it's why this is so important that we pass this letter, and I'm planning on, if passed, to send it directly to Chancellor Frank and Executive Vice Chancellor Hunt, and like just really want to do this in a timely manner, just because this was a very like abrupt closure, and this is also something that I will also say that me and Cecilia and our we'll be focusing on as well with our GSA. We'll be talking with UCOP about this during the summit this week. Cecilia, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just that I know Gabby was saying about the other campuses, so I've reached out to the other EPPs as well to kind of get the status on their childcare centers. But yeah, just echoing the rhetoric that it's not only like students with dependents, but faculty with dependents as well. So like the quality of our education, right? Not just the parents that are sending their kids to the childcare. So yes, Barrett, please sign on to this letter with us.
Got it. Any comments, questions, concerns? Oh, Maya.
Hi, I have kind of two thoughts on this. I think the first thing that came to mind for me reading this was the applied developmental psychology minor. To my understanding, they work pretty closely with these childcare centers for kind of the minor, and so I'd be curious if there's anything we would want to add to the letter in that sense, as far as potential impact on student learning and kind of that aspect. I don't know if that could be something that would be an incentive to keep childcare on campus.
I could have, yeah, totally. I know there might have been some learning mentioned, but specifically mentioning the minor, I think would be great. Thank you, Maya. I'm not sure, Gabby. I remember there was like some clause that you wrote that was related to like urgent education development and like student learning programs. Or like Maya, you want to feel free if is there an area that you see in this document that you're like this would be great right here, and do you have like the language in mind, like you this is like for anyone can edit or add on things?
Look, I'd have to take a look, and I'd also want to double check it. So I think probably for the sake of getting this letter done, it probably isn't worth it, especially if you want to get it done tonight.
Okay.
I just like don't know fully enough about the minor.
No,
and
I
want to
understand
like
that.
just check sources.
Yeah, but definitely something we can keep in mind when it comes to advocacy, and I can bring it up to Broome Parenting Scholars as well. Any other comments? Questions? Yeah, of course, it's our job. We are the reps. Anything else? Alrighty. Can I have a motion on this letter?
Yes, I motion to approve a letter to urge UCLA administration to save UCLA childcare in solidarity with Bruin Parenting Scholars, faculty, and staff.
Gabby motions. Gabby motions, Cecilia seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. All opposed? All abstaining? With the 13-0-0, letter to urge UCLA administration to save UCLA childcare is passed. Thank you so much, all. I hope you all have a great night. I will see you in 2 weeks. I am adjourning August 18th.